Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, all. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Aging Queen with our regular guest, Robbie
Hello,
from
good
Madrid,
morning.
Spain. Hey, Robbie. James from
Good
Columbus,
morning.
Ohio. And me from everywhere. I'm Louis Canetti. And today we have a little special treat for you. We're doing a video show. Posting this on YouTube. We've done it a couple times before. So hope you like it and hope to do it more often. Our topic today on this episode is yesterday being National Coming Out Day. Wanted to talk about gay comedians, gay actors, people who feel comfortable in their skin to take a leap of faith in their careers, right? So, who are some of your favorite comedians that we know are out, Robbie?
When it comes to comics, I am really old school. I remember growing up watching Paula Poundstone and just absolutely loving it
Yeah,
on
she was
Old
great.
School Comedy Central. God, I just loved her. And I checked her Wikipedia before this episode, and apparently she's an asexual lesbian. So I think that's amazing. Some other of my favorite comics are Cameron Esposito, Tig Notaro, Just Tom, Cola Scola, and I think more recently Bowen Yang being on SNL.
Yeah, he's great.
I think the list goes on, but those are just some of my favorites right now in the moment. How about you, James? What do you think?
It's funny you mentioned Tig Notaro. Like I noticed I didn't know that she was a comedian until I started watching her on Star Trek, and I was like, oh, like 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 have you never? And I'm assuming that you two probably aren't like big Star Trek fans, but like
A bit.
this Star
I used to
Trek
be.
Discovery is probably like one of the queerest Star Treks that's ever been created. Like if you've not watched it, you need to watch it because it's
Mhm.
like Tig Notaro's on there.
Wow.
And then there's let's see, there's a gay couple, and the gay couple, they've essentially kind of like adopted this um uh,
Ferengi?
I don't know, not a Ferengi. I was gonna say they're not trans. They're what's the other one? Is it
Non-binary?
non-binary? Yes, and the non their non-binary sort of adoptee is in a relationship with someone who's trans. So it's just kind of like,
Hmm.
so for me, I'm kind of like that. This is just amazing. This is absolutely fantastic.
This
Yeah,
is the new
Star Trek
Discovery?
Discovery. I think there's only 5 seasons.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
It's over now,
Mm.
but it's pretty awesome. But I mean, as far as the
Right.
actors playing them, Anthony Rapp and oh my gosh,
Oh, he's great. I remember him from Rent.
and
He was
I've
just fantastic. I
I
saw that in
cannot like
$19.96.
it's early here, so and the guy who played on My So-Called Life, um, he is
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh,
yes,
the
yes,
Hispanic
yes,
guy?
yes. He's an incredibly
Oh,
attractive
yes.
man, and I'm so mad at myself that I cannot remember his name right now but at the same time, it is also early in the morning. I can probably barely remember my own name.
Are we talking about
Uh,
Chakotay?
no,
Oh, he was
that's
that was my
Oh,
Wilson
Wilson
Cruz.
Cruz, who was
Yes, Wilson
also in
Cruz.
Rent.
Yes, he is.
Right.
He
Yeah.
plays the chief medical officer.
mm.
So yeah, and it's just great to be able to see like their actual sort of like relationship on on screen. But I guess going back to the original question, as far as like,
I gotta
oh
watch
yeah,
this. I
it's
gotta
pretty
watch
awesome.
this one.
Yeah,
I watched the original Discovery.
Deep
That was in
Space
the
that
Nine is
was
90s.
also really, really queer.
that was
Mm.
the Next Generation that you watched in the 90s.
Yeah.
No, it was yes, the Next Generation
Yes.
was with Captain Picard, but then they made the Discovery was the one with the female. She was British also.
Janeway.
That's that Janeway
Yes.
wasn't British, and also that's yeah. I
She's
was gonna say,
American.
she was
In
yeah,
Yeah.
my
and it's
memory, she has a British
also
accent.
I literally watched it yesterday. so, so
Oh, wow. Okay, we
no,
can't fight
no,
with
I'm
he's a
hardcore.
real
Yeah,
Trekkie over here.
uh, that's
And then the black,
So
Avery
capsule.
Brooks.
That's Discovery.
no, that's Deep Space Nine.
Oh, god damn it.
Tha
Yes.
that's Deep Space Nine.
And
We're really
I was
Trekifying
gonna say
over
the one
here.
that you're thinking of was it's not, oh gosh. Once again, early morning
Yeah,
fog. Um yeah, like I just watched it. I could see the ship in my mind. I just and I could all
The
the
ship.
show is named after the ship. So, but it's
Discovery.
not
Right,
Discovery. It's
right,
No,
not
I get it.
Discovery.
Well, the
Enterprise.
Enterprise was the
Right.
other one. T and then, I don't know,
Lower
the Niña Pinta
Decks?
Santa
No,
Maria.
like
I mean, what we got
I'm
here?
so mad at myself right now. Like we can't do this in the morning anymore because my mind is not
Was
it's not
was
working.
it
It's just
animated?
oh no,
No?
it's not Discovery. We just had Discovery. God, it's
Why don't we Google this? I
we
think
could
Google's our
Google it, but
friend.
I'm just mad at myself because I literally just
I'm on
watched
it.
it last night.
Prodigy,
Robbie's on it.
Voyager.
That's it, Voyager. Yes, yeah.
Voyager. Yes. That's the one. Well, isn't
Janeway.
who's the
Voyager?
captain
Yeah,
on
that's
that one?
Janeway.
Yeah,
Huh?
Janeway.
Kate
Yeah.
Mulgrew.
Yes.
Janeway. Kate Mulgrew,
Is
yeah.
she?
She's
She's not
British.
British.
I'm checking. I'm
Robbie,
checking.
fact check.
Nope, she's from Iowa.
Oh, sh
Well, she was born in Iowa.
really? Well, then she's got that Katharine
Mm.
Hepburn Mid-Atlantic thing going on when she talks.
Mm.
Um, because she
Yeah.
does remind me of Katharine Hepburn. Um, anyway, so that's great. You know, the coming out day, especially for artists, I think they take a leap of faith when they come out because there is oh wow how do I say this? There is a
Repercussions.
when you yeah, there are repercussions, but when you're an actor, your audio what you want to do is always appease the widest audience you can,
Widest or whitest?
right? Um,
Oh, okay. Mm.
widest, not whitest. So you want to make sure that you appeal to everyone, you know, and when you come out, you're basically losing, and just in the US, you're going to lose a certain percentage of people who don't want to see your work because you are LGBTQ, you know. So it's getting more and more normalized, and I think it's fantastic, where you can be your, true authentic self as an artist and do your work, and it shouldn't interfere. But there have been, you know, historically, actors, comedians, and people in public that have had to, hide their sexuality.
Mhm.
It's still going on to this day, just so they don't lose that appeal, right, from the
So they can keep
audience
making money.
and the money that comes along. Yeah, it's the money that comes along with
And
it.
when
So,
you're, especially when you're growing up, um,
Right.
watching television and being able to
yeah,
see people that you can relate to. Now, I think it's getting better and better, but back
who
when
did
we
you
were
guys?
growing up, we didn't have any of that kind of representation.
Did you have any gay idols growing up, or did you see yourself
Not
represented on TV
until
or
No.
in the films?
no, not until probably Will and Grace. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say Will and
But
Grace.
I remember Bretman Rock, who's an influencer, openly LGBTQ influencer, was saying, you know, if you don't see representation on television, just change the channel. And I'm like, that's great. That's today, though. Back in the day, there
Right.
wasn't that.
No. Right. Exactly.
There were no
Right.
We
channels
had four
except for
Right.
maybe
channels.
Queer
Exactly.
as
We had four
Folk. But
channels.
don't watch Queer as Folk with your parents. I learned that the hard way.
Oh
Ugh.
no.
Oh no.
No. No. No.
Yeah, they're not gonna get it.
Ugh.
No. Yeah, even as woke as
Mm-mm.
they
Not even
can
today
can
would
be,
people do
that's
that.
not.
Ugh. Yikes.
No. No. No.
So, you know, I thought I actually thought that, you know, Will and Grace, yes, absolutely. I saw I saw characters represented, but the first movie for me
Yeah.
was Birdcage.
Okay.
Um I loved
Mhm.
Birdcage, and I thought it really it was really nice to see the dynamic relationship that they had, and but for when it comes to TV, I thought you guys remember Perfect
Yeah,
Strangers?
but they weren't gay though. They
Balky
weren't gay though.
Bartoculus? Huh? I know, but
Right.
I thought Balky was gay.
Well, he was
I
he was
thought Balky
Eastern
was gay, and
European. So
I know,
You
but
thought
I
he was
think it's a
hot.
metaphor.
right.
I well, I think it's like it's a metaphor for being foreign, for being,
Queer in the sense
not,
of not straight, like, not in the
yeah, you're
norm, but
different.
But that actor, I will say, like,
Right,
that actor
you're
has
different.
played very gay roles, like, he
Like,
was in Beverly Hills Cop.
yeah, on Lethal
Yeah,
Weapon,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
playing
yeah,
gay, yeah.
yeah,
I need
yeah,
to
Robinson
check him
Pinchot.
out. Is he hot? Is he still alive?
he's still alive.
Yes, he's still
He
alive.
was
He
just
was
in the new
just in
Beverly
the
Hills Cop.
new, he was just in the
Yeah,
new,
yeah,
Beverly Hills Cop,
playing the same role.
he
Yes,
he
yeah.
playing the same role, yeah. But he's fantastic. I love that show. I thought it should have gone on for longer and longer. But anyway, in my mind, I thought when I was a little kid, that
Mhm.
show that he was a gay character, so, um, it helped me, I realized, well, and I also realized that gay people are really funny, um, you know, um, and Will and Grace helped to kind of, really, um legitimize that for me because I was like, wow, these even though Will's character, or played by Aaron McCormick, is not gay in person, I mean in real life, um, it still showed just like Birdcage, a
Mhm,
different spectrum of gay society. You have
mhm.
the different types of gays. Fantastic
I felt that
showcase
way
of
more about
talent there.
Queer as Folk, though,
Um,
Mhm,
honestly. Like, back in the was it early 2000s?
mm.
Just because at the time I was I think I was in my mid to yeah, I was like in my mid-20s or something like that. So that was a show that
yeah,
I could more identify with because it sort of spoke more to my life. Like, it showed such a
Mm.
wide variety of gay
yeah,
characters. Like, you had the gays that went out every weekend. You had the gays that just stayed at home and just lived a normal life. The comic
yep.
book gays, just corporate gays. I mean, it was just kind of like I would watch it and be like,
Well,
right,
the
exactly.
non-out
And I
gays
watched it and I
too.
remember
Yeah.
thinking, man, this show is amazing. Of course, I'm so glad I didn't watch it with family. I mean, it was like me and my gay friends at the time. We actually had like watch parties when when it was coming on. So it was just kind of like we'd get together. I think it was like Saturday or Sunday nights, and a group of us would sit and watch it and be like, man, this is just crazy.
No, it was amazing, yeah, it was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
layered, you know, and it was great, and it wasn't always about tragedy.
True.
Sometimes it was just about life
Yes.
and the silliness of it, of the gay, world, and
Mhm,
sometimes how petty it can
Right.
be
I mean,
too,
and they
and
would deal
funny,
with some
you know?
really hard issues like drug abuse and things like
Yeah,
that. Um,
right,
like some of those episodes were a little hard to watch because you're just like, man,
right, right.
this is almost too real. So yeah,
Yeah, but they did it right, and it was, I think for our generation, folks who are in their 40s or, later did you watch that show when it came out, Robbie?
L Word, not L Word, Queer as Folk, not as much because I watched because I think it was on
Yeah,
Showtime, and
yeah.
yeah, I
right.
think I watched one of the episodes with my dad, and that was not a good idea. Not a good idea.
Yeah, no.
That was traumatic, so
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
after that, I think I watched L Word religiously and Orange Is the New Black
Oh, L Word was great,
religiously,
yeah.
but I never went back into Queer as Folk.
I
Yeah.
think Queer as Folk was a little bit
Right
before. It
before
was
L
like
word. Yeah.
L Word
Mhm.
overlapped a little bit, but
Mm,
L Word was the new Queer as Folk, for
Yeah.
lesbians, basically. But and everyone I talked about L Word so much, afterwards,
mm,
it was such a very popular show. But Queer as Folk really, hit a note with me too, because at that time I was just coming out. It was, post college. Well, Will and Grace is more like the theatrical side of your personality. Queer as Folk was like a real, almost like a docudrama of what, a glimpse of what, an 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 urbanized,
mhm,
Yeah.
gay
Yeah.
experience is basically. So and I had just moved to New York in the early 2000s, so it was very much, real life imitating art and art imitating real life at times, but not as crazy. Of course, everything was much more um, dramatized in Queer as Folk. But yeah, it was wild for sure. I think if you're of that same age while you're watching it, really it
Mhm.
hits harder.
Yeah.
You know, what are other things that kind of hit home to you guys when you were growing up, or that helped you kind of transition or come
Mm.
out?
I don't know. It was hard to not be out because it was just obvious I was that queen. So I didn't need television. I didn't need other people around me. I even though I was the only queer person that I knew, I just knew that I wasn't for being straight.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I think yeah.
And you,
So,
James?
I was
I
gonna say I didn't really. So I came out when I was 19. I was in college. I There was really no sort of representation out there that sort of inspired me to do it. It was one of those situations where I just, for me, I guess it was sort of coming to, well, I guess the realization that certain things that I thought and felt, you know, had a word associated with it, because at the time I had been told for a long time, like there were certain things that I would do that people would be like, oh, that kid's gay or something like that. And I remember like one of my mom's very best friends, he died of AIDS, and on his deathbed he told my mom that I
mm,
was gay. She's like, he said, by the way, your son is gay. I was 14 at the time, and so but my mom and I, we've
yeah.
always had an incredibly close relationship.
Oh
So she
wow.
came to me, and she was like, "This is what he said. How do you feel about that? Are you?" And I was like, "I don't think I am." But I but I at
Yeah,
the same
you
time I
Did
never
you
said
know.
know? Did you
I,
feel?
I didn't know
Uh,
because honestly I was never growing up. I was never like a sexual kid.
right, yeah.
Like I didn't date in high school. I didn't go to prom. I didn't like I was always the nerdy
Do you
kid. I
guys
was the
ever
nerdy
get
quiet kid.
well, that's I was gonna say, do you ever get, gay and nerdy,
No.
confused? Because I always find some straight nerdy
No.
guys to be gay, and that my gaydar
No.
fails with them.
No.
Like, if you're very nerdy, um, I
See,
sometimes think you're
I've
gay,
always been
and
nerdy. I've always hung out with nerdy friends. The majority of my friends have been straight. So no, I've never gotten that confused. I've never been like, "Oh, look, did you
yeah,
did you watch
I have.
Star Trek last
Hmm,
night? Oh, was it?" And then get like all excited and hot and bothered. It was never like that. It was kind of like,
Mm.
um, I just didn't like. I remember like, y-
no, just like I'd say more personality wise is what I'm saying. Is like if I because I would attract more nerdy friends, so I would think sometimes that they'd be gay, but
I
not. They're just
I
nerdy.
find it
Yeah.
appealing, like if I meet someone who is gay and nerdy, because then that gives us something definitely to bond over. Like after we're done with this,
Right.
I'm literally like I'm gonna
Because
go
you're
and hang
both
out with a
gay
friend of
and
mine. Like
nerdy.
we call it like sci-fi Saturdays. We get together, we watch sci-fi stuff, and just we bond on it.
I mean, just that Robbie and I completely failed the whole
Well,
Star Trek test is,
I
shows your
mean,
nerdy skills how
yeah,
great
but
they
even
are.
with the morning brain fog and I couldn't get Voyager,
Mhm.
even though I literally watched it yesterday. So I'm just kind of like, I'm mad at myself for that. And my friend who I'm hanging out with, if he watches this, he's gonna be mad at me too because he's gonna be like, I can't believe,
It's like,
exactly,
"You knew
can't
this.
believe you
You
didn't
knew
get
this."
Voyager.
Mm. No, I was never really into Star Trek when I was growing up. I was more into X-Files. That was that
Oh,
was
good, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
mm,
I never got into that. People were into
Twin Peaks.
X-Files and,
Mm.
Mm.
Twin Peaks. That was a big one. I was
Oh
into
yeah.
Northern Exposure.
Hmm.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know
I
why, I
watched
just
all
liked it.
those, but those. those shows were
And
never
Sex and
like
the
my
City.
like, "Ooh, I gotta, watch it." It was, but I did watch them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I liked, 90210,
No, no,
especially at
no,
the
no,
beginning.
no.
Mm,
Yeah, that was, like, a big
good.
show for me, but then just random stuff like Mr. Belvedere.
That I can
Do you
watch.
remember
But
that?
I was a kid when Mr. Belvedere was on.
Family
Yes.
Family
Matters?
Matters I grew up on, yeah.
Yes, yes, I grew up on that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because some of these shows, Robbie went from the '80s into, like, the mid-90s, so yeah, yeah, but, like,
Yeah,
Growing
yeah,
Pains
Rings
yeah, I
a
can watch
bell,
that.
was a big one.
rings
I
a
feel
bell.
like
Hmm?
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
N
Ring My
Saved by the
Bell, what
Bell.
is
Saved
it?
by the
Saved by
Bell,
the
I
Bell.
remember that.
I will now I will say
Ring My
I will
Bell.
say Saved by the Bell on Saturday mornings, that was kind of like a gay awakening. Zach
I mean, come
well,
on,
both
Zach was a
both
cutie, you
like,
know?
what, Zach and, Slater. I remember both of
That's
them, and
right.
I
He was
I
too
I was
muscly
just
for
like,
me, but
like,
yeah.
I was a kid, but it was one of those sort of like, "Huh," but it wasn't, it didn't dawn on me like that's what,
That was
like
me and Chicote.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
they were our, like,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
it
our
really
high
was.
school,
It really
basically,
was.
we
Like,
were
that was
kids
pretty
when they
much like,
came.
"Oh, yeah." Huh.
Yeah, and then when, did you guys watch, Showgirls
Is
when
that
that
your
came
favorite
out?
scary movie? No.
No, you've never watched Showgirls?
Girl.
It's actually pretty good. Like, it's one of those movies that tanked in the box office, and, Slater's girlfriend, what's her name? She's
Yeah, I
in
know who
it.
you're talking about, but but
You know.
one of my best friends, that's actually one of his
We're
favorite
gonna have to
movies, Showgirls, and I remember we watched it together, and it was like within the past year, and I was like, "Man,"
Elizabeth
I thought
Berkley,
this is
that's right.
What's Joker's about?
Well,
Tell the young
what
people.
Okay, so Elizabeth Berkley basically goes to Las Vegas. She's the new girl in town, and she wants to be a dancer. And the biggest show on the strip is the show that she wants to, participate in. She wants to be in it. So she gets a part as a backup dancer because she basically knows the manager
Mhm,
guy who runs the show, and then she works her way up, and she has this kind of
mhm,
conflict with the lead of the show, and then there's a little kind of climbing the ladder, and then she becomes the lead actress in the show, and then she also has these problems. So it's basically anyone that reaches the top, it gets either corrupted or the process of reaching the top, and then you fall down. So it's a very telling tale of our human corruption and our human sense of wanting to climb that ladder for sometimes for no reason,
mm.
but just wanting to climb it, you know? And but it's just very different because Elizabeth Berkley's role in Saved by the Bell was just very demure, very, high schooly, and then she turns into a stripper dancer
Yeah, and Saved
showgirl.
by the Bell,
You
she
know,
was the most academic.
she had like a full
She was
frontal,
like class president and things
very
like that. Like,
academic.
she was the high achiever of the show
Oh,
for sure. So then for her to do Showgirls was definitely a surprise to a lot of people.
And it was, like,
Yeah.
right after
Yeah,
too. It was 94,
yeah.
95, something like that.
But it
Um, so it was a
but I think
shock
it's definitely
for
interesting,
sure.
like, some of the movies that are not even necessarily gay related that gay people have kind of adopted,
Yeah.
like Showgirls and Mommy Dearest. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that
Mommy
that's
Dearest
a
is a big
big
one.
one that gays love, and yeah,
Mhm.
but it's not actually gay related. So,
No, but you go to any gay club, there's literally Mommy Dearest,
yeah,
playing, slapping around the kid all the time, and Joan Crawford.
yeah.
It was a Faye Dunaway, right? Yeah, she basically
Joan Crawford.
was Joan
Robbie, I'm
Crawford in
guessing
that
you've never
movie.
seen that.
I mean
not ringing any bells, sorry. Faye
I
Dunaway
mean,
does, but
yeah, yeah. It's a great movie. It's one of those.
Yeah.
yeah,
No more
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah,
snippets
wires.
of it, but I haven't seen it.
yeah, yeah.
It's kinda traumatic. I don't wanna put myself through
I
that,
think it
so
should be
no.
on YouTube.
I'm good.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah, it makes you it shows you that even if you're all, rich and famous, you're still a real person and got some fucked up
Mm,
problems in your life. So and it all came from that book that the daughter wrote, right? About she was an
Right after
adopted
Joan
child,
Crawford died, like right
and
after. So
yeah, right, like early 80s or something. Um, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of the stuff I watched um growing up um, didn't always have to have a gay character in it, and it's just
Mm,
things that attracted me to it. I think the smart aleck kind of comedy I always, attracted to. I think the little zingers. That's why Jack
mm.
was great and Will and Grace.
So
Any actors that you thought that weren't gay and they're actually gay? There's some that
so
I was
what's
surprised.
really funny, like I
Um,
remember telling my at the time she was my sister-in-law. Once again, it kind of goes back to Star Trek. When the Star Trek when the newer series came out and Zachary Quinto um was gonna be Spock, I was just like, yeah, if he was gay,
Mm.
yeah.
But
And then of course he came out and huh?
he's not?
He is. He
Oh,
came
he
out,
is,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he's gay. Um,
yeah, but you know what? Who's the he was in that West Wing movie. I mean, series.
Cal Penn, that
Cal
was a
Penn.
big shock. Because I remember watching Cal Penn movies being like, "Oh,
It was a big shock, right?
I wish he
yeah,
was," and then he came out and I was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, he's totally
right.
cute.
That's true.
But that's the thing. That's for me. That's where I would have thought the nerdy was gay
Right.
already. Because I get them kind of crossed. So for that one, it worked. But I kind of already thought he was
He was
gayish.
stealth. I
Um,
had no clue.
some just Yeah, that one it was a
Yeah.
surprise that, I
Yeah.
think for a lot of people. And what about, God, the British actress that's married to, the other actress, Holland, um, and Holland Taylor, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sarah Paulson.
yes.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
funny. I just found out that she was gay.
Yeah,
I was just like, what?
I had no idea.
Yeah, like I saw her
Yeah,
on the
and she
red carpet with her wife, and I was like, they're together?
What?
What?
yeah,
Yeah.
They
and they
do.
make a cute
They do.
couple. Yeah, I
Mhm.
Yeah.
really like Holland
Yeah.
Taylor and Sarah Paulson. Any others that surprised you or that you think
I
should
was
be gay?
surprised. So I used to watch, oh gosh, what was the name of that show? I can't e- I um yeah, just never mind. I was gonna say if I can see the show, I can see the actor, but I can't think of either of their names right now, so I'm just not gonna worry about it.
Um,
But he is gay.
okay,
He's
I'm sure they are.
very yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What about,
You know that guy? Oh,
remember
yeah, Wentworth
Prison Break?
Miller?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, he's
I
gay.
remember
Yeah.
that being a blip in the news,
He
years
is.
ago, and I kind of forgot, and I was like, "What? What about that other guy, the brother guy,
No?
the Australian guy, where you could kinda tell in the first episode his accent was a bit off?" That big muscly guy, was he gay or no?
Oh. I don't know who you're talking about. James, do you?
Prison Break,
This is
it was
I
2
didn't watch Prison
brothers.
Break.
from
I didn't watch Prison Break.
I
So
only watched
yeah.
a couple episodes of it. Um, but, what else who else? Colton Haynes? Anyone named Colton is gay. I mean, isn't there another one,
I don't
Colton Underwood
we're
too?
going
I
beyond those
And
stereotypes of
right. I
watching
just
this
like
television show will make you gay, naming your kid this will make you gay. You
right,
can't be made gay.
exactly.
You can't wave a magic wand and then boop.
okay, well, if you want a gay kid,
I
name him
That's not
mean,
how
Colton.
it works.
Um,
Gay
it's
math.
gay science. It's gay
yeah.
math. I mean,
Mm.
these are gay rules.
Yeah.
Hello. I mean, you just gotta know them. I think, yeah, there's a bunch that surprise you, especially when they come out, and others that do not. Who did not surprise you when they came out? Ricky
I was
Martin?
surprised.
I was surprised by Ricky Martin.
I was surprised by Ricky Martin. I mean, I had
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
not
Really?
yeah.
an inkling, but I wished. Like with Cal Penn, I was like, okay, I wish. But then he came out, I was like, oh wow, dreams come true.
Right, right, exactly. Um,
What
Oh,
about
I had no
Lance
idea. Well,
Bass?
I knew, like, I when before he came out, I had no idea. So I was like, good for him.
I didn't know him too well. I don't think anyone of us knew him
Right.
too well as like him
Mhm.
alone without being in the band. So it's I
didn't think
didn't
much of it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't it
It was
wasn't a
like
surprise or anything.
congratulations.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Who are you? You know,
Mm.
You
like
win an
who are you?
Joey
award.
Foot.
It's kinda like, Elon Musk's, driverless, car now. It's called Robovan.
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 It's
Oh,
Robovan, but he
Oh,
calls it
are you making fun of his South
Robovan.
African accent? You're doing it. Make fun of him.
No, no, no. He actually says Robovan,
Oh,
and it's Robovan. He tried to give it like a,
yeah, he's trying to
a
make fetch
real
happen,
name.
and it's not going to happen.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but the actual name of this driverless car, is
There's no
called
Cybertrucks
Robovan.
here in Europe, right? Or are they? Because I want to have a good day today. I don't want to see no
Mhm.
Cybertrucks.
Do you normally see
I didn't know,
Cybertrucks in
but
Madrid?
No, a
Yeah.
lot of taxis are Teslas, but
yeah,
regular
Teslas are
people
kinda
don't have
everywhere now,
Teslas.
huh?
Maybe you'll see ones every other month, but not most taxis, but a lot of taxis are Teslas.
You know what I rented and I've never really driven was a hybrid, and those surprised
You
me
see
how
hybrids here.
amazing they
Yeah.
are. Um, yeah, and the gas was like, wow, I think I only filled the tank up
Hmm.
once that
It's the
week.
most
It was
random
crazy. Yeah, it
conversation
was
I
going
know,
from who
right?
surprised you
Back
coming out
on
to let's
focus.
talk about
Okay.
Ruben
electric
segued
cars.
Yes, let's talk about Star Trek.
segued right into it.
Back to Star Trek.
Let's talk about marshmallows
Right.
now.
Teach me something.
Gay stuff on Star Trek. Is what you-
Everything.
Yeah.
No, there's a podcast called Soy Trek, and I'm one of their Patreon supporters. So if you are into Star Trek, they go over a lot of episodes. I listen actively and inactively mostly while I do other things, but it's just a funny duo. They're hilarious, and they give me a lot of inspiration on this podcast. So yeah,
Cool.
shout out to Soy Trek
Now sponsored
for
by
Wendy's.
Sweet
For
Truck.
yes.
What are the other ones? Oh, I remember, I mean, I'll be honest, the only Star Trek that I watched probably every episode of was Next Generation with
Mm,
Captain Picard.
hear me out.
Um,
Hear me out.
and huh?
Captain
I
Picard.
mean, yeah, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
could see that. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Movies like that.
It was just a really good show, and they had a what were the Klingons? The Klingons were
Mm,
like a big part of that show, and
mm.
then the Romulans. I remember the Romulans and the Klingons, and then there was that one guy, and I forget this actor's name, but like he always came into the picture, like he
Q
was
and
in
his
tons
name
of
is John
episodes.
Delancey.
John Delancey.
Was
Yes.
it Q? What he was always like, he would like jump
He's
ships and
essentially
be
like a god.
transported, and he had like he
Mm.
had like magical
He's
powers.
like a god.
Oh, hear
His
me.
Oh
character
my
was
god.
Q. He looks really good right
Let's
now.
see.
He
He's got the gray
Q.
hair.
does.
He's got the gray hair going. He's good. Mhm.
Yes. Oh,
Yes, Q. It was
back in the day,
Q.
no. Today,
John Delancey. That's
yes.
right.
Yeah.
Today,
Yeah. Like I said, he's got the back in the day, yeah.
He was great. I thought he was my favorite character because you knew all shit was
he went
gonna
to
hit the fan when he
Juilliard.
came,
Wow.
on screen. It was like, "Wow, this is gonna be
Yeah.
a
Hmm.
wild
Yeah.
episode." Yeah, he was the wild card for that. You know? It was like, "Q." One of the shows, like, he kidnapped Captain Picard and put him, like, in prison on another planet, and then they were trying to beam him up, but then the beaming didn't work, and he was
Do
kinda
you
half
think
stuck.
that gay
And
characters
crazy.
should be played by straight people?
That is a great
Oh,
question.
um,
I
I
don't
have my
know.
opinion about
You know,
this.
it's interesting because like I've seen several straight actors who have played gay characters recently say that they would not reprise that role
Mm,
because they didn't feel like they would be doing the gay community a service.
mhm.
like like the guy who played
Yeah.
Agador Spartacus in Hank Azaria.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
Hank
said he would
Azaria.
not
Yeah,
replay that role because
Didn't he play a lot of
right.
bad roles?
Please, he's a
Mhm.
big voiceover guy.
Mm,
He does a lot of Simpsons
mm.
roles. He did Apu on 7-Eleven, the
That aged
7-Eleven,
like milk.
Simpsons guy. But, you see, I think there's a generation gap. I think it's great. I think every actor should play every role. I don't think you should be limited. I think, Dustin Hoffman doing Tootsie was amazing. And, he played a crossdresser or, what are you gonna have a drag queen do that? I think it's quite silly and it limits the gay actor because you're putting them in a box just to play gay roles, and that's what you do
I mean,
not wanna do
Mm.
as an actor. Now
Tom
I
Hanks
work,
Tom
with
Hanks did the same
actors.
thing.
Missed out.
Bosom buddies.
No,
I
that was
think it's
Robin
absolutely
Wright.
fine. I think you
Mhm.
should give first refusal to gay actors to play gay roles, but I really don't think that it should be one of those things where it's like a
Well,
faux pas for, I don't know what I'm doing with the hoodie, for straight actors to play gay roles. I think it's
well, and I
whoever's
guess
best for that
going along
role.
those lines, if we limited it to gay actors playing straight roles. Sorry, I was thinking if we limited it to straight actors playing gay roles and then we'd have to say gay actors can't play straight roles, which
Exactly, and that's what you don't want because that's what's gonna happen. You're only gonna call the black actor for that black role. What is that black role? You're limiting just when it's written as a black role, that for a gay role, that for a lesbian role, and it's messed
at,
up. What you wanna do is you level the playing field and you just create dynamic, versatile characters that happens
And
to
how do you have
be
that?
gay,
By having the
you know?
writers' room more diverse as well. Ding, ding, ding.
right.
It's not just
Yeah.
Yeah,
on screen.
absolutely.
But
Yeah, it
at the
starts
same
from
time you
everywhere.
want
Yeah.
like I can understand why having a gay person playing a gay role is important because, it's that visibility.
Yeah.
Like when we were talking about like that visibility earlier in like in TV shows. Like I don't that there wasn't I didn't see myself
Mm.
growing up.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see myself on TV. There was not I I didn't. I saw other people like when you mentioned like 90210, that was a show I didn't watch. I didn't watch Friends cuz I couldn't identify with that show,
Do you see yourself in
you know.
people in TV
But I
now?
didn't I
Um
That hot gay guy
more,
from
you know.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I know, cops, whatever. Cop
Yeah, yeah.
propaganda.
But don't you think it's about the character and not the
It's
actor
well,
playing him? Like, Eric
right.
McCormick being straight and playing Will, I think I was more attracted and the appeal and what I was
Mm,
Will, not Eric McCormick. Same thing with Birdcage was Robin
Right.
Williams, who's a straight actor. It was his character that I
mhm.
thought was great that
Right.
was on the screen. I don't
Oh,
care
yeah.
about your
No, I agree.
sexuality.
I agree.
And that's how it should be, because when you do that, you start pigeonholing, you start boxing people in,
Mhm.
and it's very
Mm,
No, I totally
limiting.
agree. Yeah.
like that,
And you and it happens in the industry. You start only it happens with race and ethnicities and now with sexuality, and they use the excuse of, "Well, it should be a gay actor playing that." Really?
I'm all
Why?
for diversity,
Why should
and
it
some
be?
people complain and say that it's really forced. I don't care. I mean, for the first we haven't had McDonald's commercials for 100 years, but let's just say for the first 100 years we had McDonald's commercials, everyone was white, and now they're all diverse, and I'm all for it. So let's do that for the next 100 years or whatever. So, get people out there. I'm all for it.
It's funny, like I just watched this video on YouTube where they showed this Burger King commercial. Same song, but like two different versions. There was like the original version, which was
Mm.
very white,
Mhm.
and then they showed the like soul version, which like
Ooh,
was from
I
the
like the
70s.
full
And I was sitting
version
there
better.
like Burger King, like you know, but I think that's
That's
hilarious.
funny.
But the show I was gonna mention earlier, I had to look it up just a second ago because I was like, no, White Collar
Never heard of
Oh, yeah.
with Matt
I like that
Bomer.
show.
Like I remember like when I
Mhm.
watched that show, I remember thinking, Matt Bomer is a really attractive guy, you know. And then he came out, and not only did he come out,
Ooh.
but he's married, he's got kids. I'm like, this is awesome. Like and he's done so many like great gay movies.
I think he's a
Yeah,
great example, yeah, and he's been very
yeah, yeah,
transparent about it and very kind of what I'm saying is these are
yeah,
actor
yeah.
activists, you know? The ones who are brave enough to come out, especially early on in their careers, because once you have 100,000,000 in the bank as an actor, yeah, if you don't get hired again, who
Yeah.
cares? You made it already. But when you're still, going up that ladder, and trying to fight for every role, it could be a negative thing. So it's very brave. I give it to actors
It's
and
definitely
anyone in the
been
public eye.
it's
It's
definitely been
amazing what
cool
you're
to
doing.
watch him go from that TV show, which I really love. Like that was just a fun show to watch, to seeing him in things like The Normal
Yeah.
Heart, which is just kind of like, whoa, this is like, yeah,
No, he's a really good
yeah.
actor. He's great. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me in this conversation. I just wanted
Mm,
to try something new, especially with coming out day a couple
mhm.
days ago or yesterday, right? So in honor of everyone that's brave enough to live their authentic self, this episode is for you. Thank you. And anyway, guys, we will chat again soon. Thank you again for another wonderful episode, and we'll talk to you guys on the flip side. If you like this episode, please don't
Click
forget to
all
like
the
and
buttons.
subscribe.
Leave a
Yes,
comment. Say how
all the
cute we are
buttons.
on camera.
Yeah, leave a
Bye.
comment.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.